Yeah, that's him. That's him.
What is that? Oh, okay.
He's holding the door.
No, he's not here. No.
No?
No, it's not him.
Is it Tom?
No.
So,
I need your phone number, by the way, Tim. Your cell.
419-466.
So,
550.
Darryl, should we
5501.
get Jason? Well,
I'm calling.
Well, actually,
Well, yeah,
both,
let me call him. He's texting him.
I mean, we can, but both Tom,
There he is.
both Tom and Jason have to recuse themselves on the first
He's here.
item
There he is.
anyways. Ah, there he is.
What did that? Did audition run late?
Good news, bad news, I'm glad you're here.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah.
Let's look back.
Yeah, that's how they do it for the audition with the makeup and the.
All right. Board of
Guys are
Zoning
brutal.
Appeals regular meeting Monday, November 13th, 2017 at 5:03. Call to order. Roll call.
Present.
Mr. Schlechter.
Here.
Mr. Hubbard.
Here.
Mr. Miller.
Here.
Mr. Hayes.
Here. Do we have any minutes?
Yeah, October 23rd.
Yes, from October 25th.
Oh, yeah, right there in front of me. Need a motion? Everybody read them?
Motion to approve?
Second.
Okay, Mr. Schlechter.
Yes.
Mr. Miller.
Yes.
Mr. Hubbard.
Yes.
Mr. O'Neill.
Yes.
Mr. Hayes.
Yes. Okay, any old business? Okay, I guess this is the part where we swear in. If anybody has anything to say about any of the variances, they come up to the podium, sign your name and address, and also if you have anything to say, you have to be sworn in. So raise your right hand if you're going to speak tonight. Do you swear that the testimony you're about to give is the truth to the best of your knowledge?
I do.
Okay, the first one, variance request for,
Do it now. Yeah, so I have a conflict on this one, so I have to abstain. So I sit out, I assume. That's what that's why it was late. I forgot what the fucking it is.
why do we wait for the guy? Just teasing. Okay, variance request for open fencing in the front yard setback from 3.5 required to 4 foot, provided for the property located at 5939 East Cobblestones Lane, parcel number 7971517, STRZR, section 2211-A. Staff report.
The subject property consists of a corner lot with frontage on East Cobblestones and Rock Hill Lanes. The property is zoned A4 Rural Residential. Section 2211 of the Sylvania Township Zoning Resolution states that, quote, corner lots shall adhere to the setback and height requirements on both street frontages, end quote. That section further dictates that the maximum height for fencing within a front setback on a residential property is 3 feet for solid fencing and 3.5 feet for open fencing. The applicant is seeking a variance from this requirement in order to erect a 4-foot high fence on their property along the public right-of-way line of Rock Hill Lane. The minimum front setback requirement for an A4 zone property is 35 feet. Additionally, there is a 10-foot sanitary sewer easement on the property along the Rock Hill Lane frontage. Section 200B of the Sylvania Township Zoning Resolution states, no person shall install, erect, cause, or permit the installation of a permanent structure on or across any easement of record which will prevent or interfere with the free right or opportunity to use or make accessible such easement for its proper use. Staff recommends denial of the requested variance to the maximum fence height requirement in a residential front setback for the property located at 5939 East Cobblestones Lane for the following reasons. 1, there is no hardship or exceptional circumstances peculiar to the property warranting approval of a variance from the requirements of the zoning resolution. 2, the applicant is the property owner of the dual frontage lot and therefore the situation is self-created. 3, the applicant is not without other options. A 3.5-foot tall open fence may be erected in the same location along the right-of-way of Rock Hill Lane that the applicant desires the 4-foot fence. B, a 4-foot fence may be erected at the front setback line of 35 feet. This would allow a substantial portion of the yard to be fenced in. And C, if the primary concern is containment of a pet dog, a wireless electric dog fence may be installed.
Anything from up here?
Do you have the next slide that shows the plan? Right there, that white one. So what do you have drawn in there in red?
The applicant has drawn
Okay.
where the 4-foot
Where the proposed...
where the 4-foot fence would be proposed. Fence.
That's not right on four.
I'm sorry?
Where the dotted lines were on the one film that you had was not where I wanted the fence. I wanted the fence height along the sidewalk and then to cut next to the driveway. So
Yeah,
that's
this
why
one?
I wanted
Because her
to-
driveway's on Rock Hill.
Right, yeah, this isn't showing the fence, this is showing the,
Okay, I thought the yellow dotted lines were the fence.
no, that's the setback, the front setback.
Okay.
That's where you could put the fence, correct, Daryl?
In the middle of the yard.
Right.
Correct. Where the yellow is.
All right, so back to my question on that slide. Where did that come from?
This plan, the applicant submitted.
That's your slide, okay. All right, well, I'll address her when she comes up.
Yeah. Because the front part's consistent, right, between the images, Daryl? So the red here showing is, I'm assuming, is off the
Right,
front setback,
right,
so that's
it's the-
consistent
Right, it's the Rock Hill Lane
piece.
that's the issue.
Okay.
Okay, I have a question. Where the red line is right now, that's the easement down through there, correct? Of 10 foot.
This is the easement right here, along Rock Hill Lane, the 10-foot
Okay.
easement.
All right. Anybody else? Okay. Want to say something?
There's a sign-in sheet there, too.
What do you think, Tom?
Not yes, no.
Okay, so I am requesting a fence. Currently, I have a dog, a large dog, that would certainly jump a shorter fence than anything at 4 foot. But my neighbors behind me and my neighbors to the left of me in this picture both have 4-foot fences in the same location that I'm requesting to have mine. The fence would be up about until the driveway up to the house, but I think what is being suggested, if I'm correct, is near that yellow line was where where maybe the zoning is zoned, where I could put the fence or where I should put the fence, but that's in the middle of my yard. And so because I'm using the back of my neighbor's fence, which is 4 feet all the way to the sidewalk, I wanted my fence to be the same as theirs, For one, because for aesthetic reasons, but for two, I wanted to use as much of my yard as possible. And I do have options as far as an invisible fence, but because it's very public right there, I don't want other dogs in. So I have weighed my options of having an invisible fence, but I don't want other dogs coming in my yard.
Do you have pictures
I do on my phone.
of the other properties with the fence?
Yes, I do.
Because I know, because I live
Right,
like
but I
5
took some
houses
before
from
I
you.
came over here. They're on my phone.
Okay. So I think that's important too.
Yeah, we need to see them. Can we bring it up on,
Can you use my phone?
can we bring it up on Google or something?
Can you email the pictures to Daryl? Is that possible
You
from your
can't
phone?
get email.
I can do that.
Can you get email in here, Daryl?
I don't think so. This isn't even my laptop.
Oh, okay.
No, I mean, we did, when this variance application was submitted, our compliance officer did go out and check. Well, first of all, we looked to see if there's permits for either of these houses, and there were no fence permits applied or granted. So those property owners have been sent a letter that they need to apply for a fence permit. And then we'll pursue the height issue after that, if it indeed is 4 feet. But at this point, they've not even obtained a permit for those fences. They were put up illegally on both those properties.
So where's the proposed fence going? Because this right here there's already a fence there, right?
Correct,
Yeah.
and that would be the back of mine. So if we could go back to that.
So where's?
Oh, it would be along the sidewalk.
It would go off of his fence.
I'm sorry, which one did you want? Which slide?
The one you
Go
just
back
on.
to the.
Yeah.
So it would be along the sidewalk, that solid red line. And then if you can
Right
see
away.
Okay.
Need
to
a what?
this where the house starts, that's where I wanted it. So because my driveway is like an L shape, so I wanted the fence in front of the driveway.
So the fence would run off of the neighbor's fence
Correct.
to this spot on
No,
the driveway?
not even to that far, just up to where the house starts, right there, straight across, and then to the sidewalk. Yep,
Okay.
right there.
And then where would it be? Is this yellow line accurate for the
No, the other part would be on the other side of the house, to the right.
Like-
Yep, right there, and then straight across to the red line, where you see the red line. Yep.
Okay,
So
so
it
just-
wouldn't. It's not much fencing. So it's really just the backyard.
Yeah.
So that
So the
picture,
variance is for this year then?
Yeah.
Yes.
Correct.
For like,
I guess everywhere else I can have a 4-foot fence, except for not that side,
Right.
which wouldn't do me any good, really, for the
so
dog that I've
that's
acquired.
the picture of the neighbor's fence,
That's the fence.
standing on Rock Hill looking at it.
What kind of fence were you going to put up?
the same. Right?
Same one as my neighbors have, just a split
live-
rail,
I live
a
there.
4-foot split rail with
Like
the
5
wire
Okay.
I get-
mesh.
Let me get
I
this
went by
straight. Ah, I don't have a pointer. See where that yellow line is at?
Yes,
Okay. You want to move that up to where the dashed red line is?
Nope, that's the
No.
sewer. Past that, the solid.
No,
yellow line.
up
All the way to there.
Yeah.
Right.
yes,
Because this is her deck, her patio. Here, it's an old photo, right? But this is
yes.
patio. So this would be literally just on the other side of the.
Is there a fence that goes this way on his property?
No, the only fence right now is the back fence, the neighbor's fence, which goes all the way to the sidewalk
I
also.
made a pretty good sized shadow there.
Like
So, yes, so that's
Is there
a
a
fence
fence
now. Yes, and that's the back of what I would use.
That's this, right here.
Okay, so there is a fence there.
Yes.
You want to take the fence like this and
Yes,
over here?
yes.
Sorry.
It's okay,
Understand now.
okay.
So, Daryl, you said that there were notices to the neighbors who have this fence up that they need to remove it,
Well, they need to.
or that it's in violation,
They need to apply for a fence permit.
which would put them in the same position she's in.
Right. If it is indeed over 3.5 feet.
But a 3.5-foot fence is fine there,
Yes. A 3.5-foot open fence.
open fence,
3-foot solid,
solid.
like a privacy fence.
Privacy
It can only
fence.
be 3 feet in the
Gotcha.
front setback.
Well, she wants another 6 inches of open fence.
Right.
Which is, I mean,
Just of a split rail fence.
It's just,
Have you talked to any other folks that live in the neighborhood, not your immediate neighbors? Because it's living in the same community that's a popular fence. So I wonder, is that in your mind, or have you talked to folks, is it 4 feet pretty consistent for the neighborhood, or?
When I've looked around, yes, it is. Did I go measure them? No.
Why not?
I probably should have. But there is an example on the corner down the way from me. You would know where I'm talking about. It's the first street when you pull in. They also have the exact same fence on a corner. It goes up to the sidewalk. It's the exact same thing that I want. So there are several houses in the neighborhood that do have that.
So the fence you propose would have the chicken wire as well?
Yes. Again, it's because it's public. I mean, I don't want other dogs coming in my yard. I have 2 dogs, and I worry about I worry about critters in the night too. I want it out.
I mean, some of my issues here are there is no hardship, but at the same time, I mean, we're going to have all of our neighbors in, at the next meeting with the same thing, and what we're going to make them take their fences down. So I mean, so it's a little bit more complex than an individual.
I think what Don's saying is there's been a precedent set with the fences. Which your point was very well taken, that they were illegal. You didn't get a permit from.
Right.
So if we probably pulled all them other fences, they probably never got a fence permit.
Well, they didn't, right? I mean, you said they didn't.
Well, the one next door did. We don't know about the one down
The neighbor behind me says that he did. He says he has a record of it. I didn't ask him for it, but I know when my builder came to look down here, there was no record of it.
Okay.
Yeah, we had no record for the house behind or the house across the street having a fence permit.
Okay.
The one across the street's for sale right now.
Yeah, and they put that in recently, or redid it recently.
When I was out there taking the photographs, I didn't measure the fences. They didn't look like they were 4 feet to me, but the posts probably were, but the top of the fence I don't think was 4 feet. But I didn't measure it. So.
You're looking at your top rail being 4 feet?
Meeting with what my neighbor has, yes. I wouldn't make it any higher than what
Did you
they already have. I did not measure it, no. He had told me it was 4 foot, and I took his word for it. I should have measured. I did not.
So, I mean, it isn't actually 4 feet. I mean, she may be within.
The posts are certainly higher.
That's
for sure. So that's probably why.
But it's not the post, it's the top rail.
Right,
Correct.
top of the top rail.
You're definitely higher than 3.5 feet, in my opinion.
Yeah, but smile. I think at this point we're going to adjourn to the back, and we're going to have a little discussion, then we'll come out and give you our decision.
All right.
front is a big differentiator.
Right, and then the one side.
The side, right, the one side is the other side. Because they treat it like it's a front.
Right.
And that's what it is something that I think they're thinking about the heights and it's not an issue. It's considered code. Something full foot must be kind of sort of a standard.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of standard in the industry. No. Yeah, no, I think that's something, yeah, there is something else the trustee should be looking into. I was saying maybe the neighbors like me, because maybe the fence is shrinking. It's actually How are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Good, good. You abstaining too for the first one?
Yeah. I'll just say yes.
Yeah, it's just surrounds it. Yeah, they have a son, also named Jason.
No, I mean, I understood your reason. Yeah. Really?
Okay. Sure. See, Rich, you know why?
Maybe you should have like a kid from the bowling team. Staying down there.
Oh.
Yeah, so
Yes, I know what you're talking
the
about.
issue is much more.
I don't know what's current.
Well, that's not the way they are supposed to. Was it your fence company assumes that we're not putting in? Yeah, well, that's. Right. Yeah, I've always wondered, I see this speaking of her as a vendor site. I mean, that's their, but the rest of it, you should know before you get too far in these things.
Or they pulled a permit and they paid for it to have it done. They paid $25 already to have a regular permit paid for.
No, you have to, you're in the township. It's not the case for anyone. It's just wait 6 months grace period to move out.
Maybe the trustees like, because this is, it's going to probably just start. Well, either way, you're saying it have to take offense that because of marketability. Yeah, marketability to try to sell this subject for the kids and see what happens after the year. I understand. Yeah, I think it is. For what it's worth. It doesn't have to die, but. We'll see. All right.
Thanks.
Good luck.
Oh, and you know what?
did?
Yeah.
So
So they
they
come back.
Oh,
And they come back. I'm like,
it's nothing you can use against me.
no.
So I did the okay.
No.
That's funny.
That's why we.
Yeah, I have a cat. Yeah, that's.
This issue's come from the public.
Yeah, it's the way it stands. It's something like. seriously, that would be,
What?
if that happens, you should talk to your sign company.
My sign company,
Or design, I'm sorry, your fence company.
no, I gave them,
I understand that, but, you know, I think before they push you through this, they should come and see if you are compliant. In other words, they came back and told you weren't compliant, you have to go in for a variance.
my builder did, not for the fence, hopefully the fence did eventually.
But you're not obligated to do anything with them right now.
No.
No, it's on you. Unfortunately. Yeah.
Grab dinner with the son 2, 3 times a year, and that's about it. So, no, he is a professor of psychology. And also at university, and also has some private practice.
What's it?
No, I grew up in a different part of the world. Yeah, I went to Abbeville, actually. And when I returned to Ohio, I was back to Joe. Ann Arbor, Michigan, and Portland, Oregon. I did. Better job opportunity from here. That they do.
Like to say the second one.
It's expensive.
Expensive.
Yes. 2008. Okay. I know the well. I was there a few months ago.
Actually, I'm good friends with Perry Maloney,
Okay.
and have a table reserved for the last state mission game. He says it for me every year.
It's nice.
Except he hates that Ohio State's over there.
That's problematic.
See Casey, across the street.
Yeah, I used to live down there.
That my,
It's 2 blocks away or something like that.
my kids grew up there ever since. I said we were there for 30. I was there for 30 years. I said she, insurance. She had to bring the kids up for medical appointments. And they make Casey's. Back then, he filled the head shells and everything.
I like Casey's. I don't like that. Wow. I've been at this back to the rotation when I'm up there. 'Cause I'm up there. My wife follows all over it.
Southern California. Used to keep go up there for cheesecake and dessert.
I'm there.
So how was your trip? Yeah, so once I saw everything.
Same Barbie. With mission day one. I used to go to Casey's. She, what she tells me. You're been there since hospital. So now she's
Yeah, 6, 7 p.m. board meeting. No. Sometimes this is up in Blissfield, but today it's just completely otherwise.
Oh, okay.
Very nice to meet you.
How old is it? That age is a great age.
I'm off for my next meeting.
Okay. I'll give you
I'll see
posted
you again.
tomorrow.
Thank you. I'm just their alternate in case.
said, why don't you come back? I said, to standing all over them. I said, I can't do that. But they're now starting to get all over me. I don't know if this is where it kind of feels sort of like a dead end, and how they, she's in the valley. It's just still, it's not, less than seven. It's still very pricey. No, that's what, it's not for, it is fun, it is, it is, with the traffic, that's why they typically say everybody's either early or late for everything. Kind of stretches out, oh, it's in California. But, I just can't, I'll go when I'm out there, because especially it's great with half-light ways. I don't care if I get off, I just need to keep moving, sitting there, I think it's become always a little bit phobia, but just sitting and going anywhere. And you never know what. You get one car race on it, and you go with cars. There are nice things about it out there. There's no question. Yeah, that's a lot. Yes, correct. Yeah, he's there at a great age. Right, he thinks long-term he likes to stay in the West. Right. That's, one of those that, comes back. That's why
I'll work with the sub.
confused, I don't know why. That is a good friend.
The headlight is just miserable. Okay, you ready there, young lady? Okay, we'll call the session back to order. What we decided to do on this is we're going to do a little bit more research, and we're going to defer this until next month, till we find out exactly what height is the fence is around the area. We have the written word. It says it's 3.5 feet high. Is it 3.5 feet high to the top of the post, or is it 3.5 feet to the lateral part? So we don't know that to begin with. So even though the code says, and there's no hardship on this, we still need to investigate this, because there's a lot of people that have appears to be illegal fences. So that's kind of a catch-22 that we're in. So we're going to defer that until next month, and we're going to have somebody do some research on it and find some of the heights of the fence.
Okay.
Motion?
We don't need a motion.
We don't need a motion?
Do we? Defer?
Defer.
All right, well, I'll
That'll be on
make a motion to defer until we have the
Second.
information. Al?
Okay. Mr. Schlechter?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Hayes?
Yes.
Mr. Lemon?
No.
That was for deferring.
Right.
3-1. No big deal. What's that?
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
How am I going to know if this is going to, I'm waiting another month with the dog in the winter months?
It's just going to be, I'm sorry.
I understand. How will I know that this has been approved?
When you come back next month.
Another meeting?
When you come back next month, then we'll have that information, because it'll come up again. The variance will come up again. The same thing will come up again next month, correct, Darrell?
Right. That'll be Monday, December 4th, 5 p.m.
And then at that time, we will make a decision one way or the other.
So the issue is the height of the fence. It's not where I want to put it. Is that correct?
Basically, that is where we're stumbling at right now, because it's such a short distance. there. The other fence is out there, okay? So, I don't believe that's the problem.
You can put a 3.5-foot fence with the chicken wire where you're asking to put it.
All the way by the sidewalk.
Right.
But I
Not
think
not a
this-
4-foot fence. And
Right.
we have no indication other than a picture of the height of the fence to the rear yard of your house. So we have to confirm that.
So
We
yeah,
need to
so it's
know if
3.5 foot to the top rail, not to the top of the post.
Right.
If the top of the post is 4 foot, it's not a 4-foot fence. It's a 3.5-foot fence,
Right.
okay?
So it's 4 feet to the top of the rail. To the top rail.
Well, I would just get rid of the top rail part, right? As long as as long as that top rail is 3.5 feet or lower, you're fine.
Right.
The posts don't matter, just where the top of that
But
rail.
you want a
that top
4-foot
rail is.
fence, so yours is even going to be higher than your neighbor's, unless his is,
Any different than my neighbors.
huh?
I don't want it any different than my neighbors.
So that's the issue.
Well, we don't know what his is
If you
either.
said his fence was 3.5, we wouldn't be able to approve it or whatever. We'd be able to vote on it in a different
I
manner.
can't say that for certain. So.
That's the issue. Because if you want it consistent, we could have said, hey, we want it to be consistent, but we need to know what size that is.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay.
Come on
Mr.
back up,
Hilberg,
Tom.
would you like to join us again? I know you patiently awaited.
We missed you.
Yes.
Okay. Now we're ready, set. Next order of business. A variance request for a side yard setback from 10 feet required to 5 feet provided for the property located at 6214 Blossman Road, parcel number 7848751 STZR-section 703. Staff report.
The applicant originally purchased the subject property in 1998. Since that time, the applicant has converted the attached two-car garage to living space and constructed a detached one-car garage in the rear yard. This detached garage was constructed without the prior acquisition of a zoning permit. This omission became known to the zoning department via a complaint registered to the department regarding construction of an accessory structure without permits. An inspection by the Township Zoning Compliance Officer yielded that the aforementioned garage, a shed, and a carport attached to the dwelling had been constructed without properly obtaining the necessary zoning permits. The department had received a similar complaint of construction without a permit back in 2008 when the applicant constructed a porch with roof. That complaint was valid and the violation addressed with the applicant. The zoning permit was applied and granted shortly thereafter. Again, after being contacted by the zoning department regarding the garage, shed, and carport, the applicant applied for the necessary zoning permits. Permits were approved for the detached garage and shed. However, the location of the carport does not meet the side setback requirement for an RA suburban residential zone property. Section 703 of the Sylvania Township Zoning Resolution mandates a 10-foot side setback for main buildings in an RA. The applicant is requesting a 5-foot variance to this requirement in order to maintain the carport 5 feet from the property line. There is approximately 15.5 feet between the western wall of the dwelling and the western property line. The carport currently extends 10 feet from that wall toward the property line. Staff recommends denial of the requested variance to the minimum side setback requirement in an RA zone district for the property located at 6214 Blossman Road for the following reasons. 1, there is no hardship or exceptional circumstances peculiar to the property warranting approval of a variance from the requirements of the zoning resolution. 2, the situation is self-imposed. Had the applicant applied for the necessary zone permit prior to construction of the carport, he would have been informed of the setback requirement. The dwelling had covered parking in the form of an attached garage when the applicant purchased the property.
Daryl, no issue with the structure in the rear?
No.
The garage, that's,
And they gave him a permit for that? Was there a variance given for that?
For the detached garage?
You didn't need
Yeah.
it.
No, there was no variance
You didn't need
needed.
He didn't need it.
No, it meets the zoning requirements.
Okay. All right.
Has it been the same owner since '98? Is that what we're?
Yes.
Okay.
No. I bought the one for my mom in 98. I've only lived there for 10 years.
Okay.
All right. All right.
According to Aries, it's the same one.
Christine Garcia was the owner.
I guess, do we have any questions up here? I guess I have one question that I'll have to ask the applicant, unless Daryl would know. Was this carport and garage put up at the same time? So there was neither a permit for the garage or the carport
Or the shed.
or the shed. So now we want to come back and get it. Correct me if I'm wrong. Now we want to come back and get a variance for the carport that was built illegally, and we thought we could get away with it, so to speak, and now it's in violation.
Right.
Okay. So with that, I guess the real question I kind of popped up in the back of my head, is that our decision, or is that a zoning violation that has to be taken care of other than through us?
What is zoning violation? The compliance officer is correct?
Right. The
Okay,
construction
am
of
I
the
all
carport
wet?
is a
Just tell me.
violation.
Well, I think the only way to remedy it is either he has a variance or he doesn't. Well, so you
Right.
can't. He doesn't comply.
Okay, so it would be, so they wouldn't have to go against the owner, it would be us to either give the variance or not give the variance, and that would settle the issue.
Right.
And then it would go back to you if they have to
For
take it down
permit.
or they have to leave it. Correct? Is that correct?
I believe so. And then
Well-
if they get their variance is granted, then they can see about getting a
Then
permit.
right. If the variance is approved, then they can obtain the zoning permit.
But if not, there's no zoning
Okay.
permit.
All right. Anybody up here got anything to say?
Not until they talk. Not yet.
How about you, Mr. Falk?
oh, this, yeah, we bring up the applicant.
Okay. Is there anybody here who'd like to talk about this situation? The homeowner or someone?
Yeah. You can both approach?
Yep.
Okay, as you can see that we're asking for the variance for the carport.
Can you, I'm sorry, can you state your name too?
Oh, Maggie Garcia. Okay, as you can see, we were asking for the variance for the carport, and the reason why we had that carport is because we have my mother-in-law who lives with us, and we have to transport her in and out, and we needed shelter. Now, back then, when you said we had the garage, we didn't anticipate that my mother-in-law would be in the condition that she is in, or we would have kept that, but we didn't, so we built that carport as a means for getting her in and out of our home without getting in adverse weather. And then she also has services that come and pick her up, and it's easy for the services to drive in and pick her up for her to go to the carport.
I mean, I don't know that anybody, just so there's something I do want you to understand. It's not why you need it or if you
Right.
needed it. There does appear, that's why I asked, there's been a number of things done to this house, even
Correct.
before that, and nobody ever makes an attempt to get it a permit or see if they comply. And I'm still not hearing that. I'm hearing why you needed it, and I don't know if anybody here is going to dispute
Right,
why you needed
and
it.
you know,
Well, let me.
So my question
Yeah.
is, why do you never go through the procedures to get what you need.
I'm a union electrician. I do massive permits throughout the whole state of Michigan. I had no idea a carport on the side of my home would need a permit.
Right.
That was
Yeah.
my own ignorance there.
Yeah, we didn't even know if you put up a shed, you're going to need a permit just to put a
Right.
shed in your yard, and every home down the street has a shed.
And I'm not
But
going
you
to
put
go.
up a whole garage without a permit.
Yeah.
Well, I do have a permit for the
Add it
footers
on
on
your
that.
house.
Yeah,
That I carry
yeah.
a permit for a footer on that from Lucas County. I have a 24 by 24 footer for that.
Okay. Just
All right.
I mean,
an observation.
I mean, we're wrong. I mean, we're not going to sit here and say that we're right. I mean, we're wrong. We should have gotten it. I didn't know I had to have one for the carport, but I didn't know I had to have one for the shed either. I mean, we just deconstructed our whole shed and moved it so that we can make sure that we were in compliance with the shed. I mean, we did that. I mean, everything we've done to our home aesthetic-wise is to bring up our property. I mean, we're not trying to devalue it or, do something wrong here. And we admit, I mean, we're wrong with the permits. I mean, that was our neglect. We should have looked if we had to put a shed up, but, our neighbors right next door just put up a shed, put it right up against the fence, and I didn't ask them if they needed a permit. It's not my business. That's their home. But that doesn't mean it's right. And what we did doesn't mean that we did it right. The only thing we're asking for is for that variance for the carport. We've already gone through and gotten permits for everything else, and we're making sure that we're following through. We understand now we're going to pay the penalty for doing so at the wrong time. I mean, we're doing that.
Which I do pay a penalty to Lucas County
Yeah.
also. So, so there is no gain by me. If you think it was mistrust. Again, that home was in my mom's name. We didn't move in. We lived on a corner of Sylvania and Holland, Sylvania for 35 years. We've lived with her now. Again, she's 89. It was her home, and we just moved in 2008. She goes into that side of the home because it's strictly ground level. The Sylvania Senior Center bus drops her off there. Kingston bus drops her off there.
Did letters go out to the neighbors, Daryl, to the neighbor to what's left of the house? I don't know what direction that is.
Yeah.
Any response?
Well, yeah, did someone, I assume somebody initially, I thought I read in the report, reported. Was it the zoning compliance officer discovered this, or?
No, we had a complaint on the property.
Okay, so, good to...
On that
to
property.
Yeah.
To Mr. Miller's
On the
point, yeah,
subject
it's
property.
good. It's important
Okay.
that making
Somebody
sure the
else
neighbors were
complained.
notified in case,
Yeah, okay.
but they're not here
Potentially
to...
neighbor.
Yeah, but they're not here tonight.
Yeah. Our tree fell. It was Labor Day weekend. Our tree fell into the neighbor's yard. It was an act of nature. I got hit by lightning, and then here we are.
When you talk about the buses, they don't actually pull in the carport. You'd be saying she just uses that entrance.
Drop her off right there.
Yeah.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah. And we have,
Kingston and Sylvania Senior Center.
plus we have caregivers because she has a home care. We have to have caregivers that come in and out to get her in and out of the house.
Okay, anybody else have anything else to say? I think we're going to adjourn at this point. Go back, and we'll come out and render a decision.
There we go. All right. Let me take this.
setback if the carport is attached to the house? Do you know? 3 foot? I don't know, I can cut that off right off my house, right? This is a loose counted for my foundation for the garage. Right. And Ray, how about ownership of the home? They wrote that my mom lived there, it was her home for the first 10 years? Yeah. Yeah, because we lived in the corner of Pennsylvania, Pennsylvania for 35 years.
Oh,
Yeah, the movie in my shed, probably cost me about $4,000 now. It almost would have been easier to tear down the whole thing and start over. But it's now 24 foot long because I took the 2 sections and yeah, because it used to be an A-frame and now it's just a half an A and I tack it over.
Ready, ma'am? Call the meeting back to order. Somebody'd like to make a motion on that?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion to approve variance request for a side yard setback from 10 feet required to 5 feet provided for the property located at 6214 Blossman Road.
Second.
Mr. Schweikert.
No.
Mr.
You say?
Mr. Lemon.
No.
Mr. Hubbard.
No.
Mr. Miller.
No.
Mr. Hayes.
No.
So the variance is not granted. One thing, whenever possible, if there's alternatives, again, I think this board certainly feels for situation with your mother, but I think that there's things you could do for her protection. Certainly, you could extend out the porch that's there to cover her if you're concerned about her ride pickup, which you still can do. I think that you could actually even do, I believe we thought there could even be a carport structure done that would be more in compliance. I just think that, especially somebody who's in the trades, this isn't just about a shed or just, there's been probably, I think, 5, maybe 6 different types of times that a permit's needed to be obtained, and there's just a pattern of never even making an attempt to get permits. When you finish the garage, that's a pretty obvious addition to the home. No permits were obtained or even attempted to. So,
But yeah, I've only been the owner since 2008.
okay, but all of this work was done while you were the owner. The garage, the shed, the carport. That's why you're here.
The carport's the only one.
Okay, well, then the carport's the subject, though, at this point.
Correct.
So, yeah, but,
So what he's saying is, if you had come in to apply for a permit, a zoning permit, to put up what you put up, it would have been disallowed. And then you could have thought about another way to achieve the same option. So let's say instead of the carport, you could have done even like a cantilevered structure that didn't go out as far, but still accomplished the same thing. Or you did a retractable awning, like they have on back porches.
I looked into them too, yeah.
Right. That could be retracted, and you'd get a larger vehicle in back than you could currently. So we would have helped you do something that would have conformed to the code and not been an issue where you had to take it down and do something different. So that's where we're coming from.
yeah, so despite the history, this isn't punishment. This is about, it doesn't comply. There are alternatives for you, going forward, even though that one can't stay as it is.
One alternative is, I just said, I could detach it from my home, and then it becomes a 3-foot easement to the western property line. Is that correct?
You're saying, what if it's detached?
So I can go up there and cut 1 foot of it off my home, all the way to 36 lane, and it's going to be legal.
It's from the property line. You have to have a certain setback from the edge of the property.
3 foot.
If it's not bolted to your house.
He's right. It would then be considered an accessory structure, which only has to be 3 feet from the side property.
How close, I can go up there and cut 2 inches off my home, and it's going to be legal?
I don't know I don't know this.
I don't understand what you're saying.
Yeah, so they're saying once it's not attached to the house, then it's an accessory, then they don't need the variance.
You could just put 2 posts, cut it off the house, and put 2 posts to hold it up, and it's an accessory structure. It doesn't.
But you can't only come over to 3 feet of the property line. So you,
I'm 5'5" right now.
He has the room.
So then it's
The variance is for 5%.
Yeah, I think whatever you cut it, you still have to make sure structurally it's going to stand.
right.
Obviously, you know that. So in terms of how far, as long as, but beyond, that would be something you'd have to address. And I guess what I'd strongly suggest is make sure that
Right.
your planning complies.
And a permit would still be required.
Yes.
Building permit from the county as well.
Detached carport?
Yes.
Yeah.
Right, and so where we are, that could have been the solution the first time around. So,
See, the other problem is there was a complaint made from a property owner.
But
It wasn't on had nothing to do with the structures, though. The complaint had nothing to do with our structures. The complaint wasn't on our structures.
What was it on?
It was,
They thought we had someone living in our garage. And I
Well,
said,
that's
"We
why,
live
okay,
there."
but the complaint, okay,
Well,
I don't know that. I'm not privy to that
actually, I
information.
believe the complaint was the tree that had fallen.
Right.
So when the compliance officer went out, he found the problem.
Right, right.
So that's how that cut. So once he found the problem, it
Yeah,
is a problem.
right.
All right. Anyway, we tried to explain it the best we could, so you don't feel that it's just what we have to do. All right, we're up for adjournment.
So moved.
Yeah.
but
So legally, all I gotta do is detach it.
You need to get with these guys.
You need to get with these guys.
Oh,
How close do I gotta be, I mean,
Uh,
an inch of my home, it's gonna be.
Let's adjourn the meeting.
Yeah,
Motion
we
to
don't
adjourn.
actually-
Let's adjourn the meeting.
Second.
We don't have a requirement on how far.
And
Let's adjourn the meeting.
Motion.
Yeah, you'll have to get a.
Motion to adjourn, second. Don and-
And then the building permit from the county.
okay. Mr. Lamont?
Yes.
Mr. Schlechter?
Yes.
Mr. Albert?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Hayes?
yes,
Okay, now
you're adjourned to December 5th.
Thank you, gentlemen.
No, thank you.